You've got a world to save today. Feel proud and wipe your eyes, cause hey, we'll put a mask stay up till dawn, stopping some criminals. There's she's among the bad guys who had to say. You'll find the headlines we're gonna say. You can beat them, you're undefeated. You're my hero, you'll have to fight for the rest of your life. Get up your love cause you know you're gonna die. But talk your shit so you can keep the good shape. You're sorry you can say it was never in vain. Empathetic Scribe. Empathetic Scribe.
Hello there, one and all, and welcome back to another episode of, well, not another episode, sorry, just a stream, I guess. Welcome back to stream. So this time we don't have a specific game we're doing, but we're doing something really, really cool today, and that is exploring the backstories of our titular main characters, our heroes, Cindy and Jimmy. We're going to be going over that. But first, if you would, please help us by going to the Patreon. That way you can join us and, find out cool little things that you're missing over there at the Patreon. Over there at the Patreon, you're going to be able to find just like extra content. You have bloopers, you have like other games we played, you have like what else? Art from the show that we're making. So it's like a bunch of little cool things that you can be a part of if you join the Patreon. And the coolest thing is that there's a lot of things for those who are just free members. If you're a free member, you can still watch and listen to a lot of the stuff over there. So we just want you to join in and have fun. And if you want to support the show, it's just $1.99. And it would help the team, the artists, the music producer, our beautiful and wonderful voice actors, and just like in general, this is a passion project, and we are just trying our best to make something really cool. So if you would help us with that, we would really, really appreciate it. Also, we have a Discord community if you want to join that and just have fun over there talking about Apathetic Race and this YouTube channel. You can do that too. You can share your art over there, your fan art for Apathetic Race, and you can also just have like little self promotions to your own awesome projects that you are working on. So yes, that would be all for this portion of the video or stream. Anyhow, we'll present our wonderful voice actors today with us. You know them as Cindy and Jimmy. They're here with me. And also we have Birch, who's going to back us up. Like I mentioned, we're going to be doing kind of like a reenactment or just like a read through the characters' backstories. And essentially these are things that are not going to ever be in the show. It's just things that make these characters who they are. And there will be references to them in the show. But yeah, I think it's just like a fun character exploration just for you guys as some extra content. And we'll probably turn this into an OVA thing where we explore the backstories of the characters at some point in the future. So yes, let us dive in. Yeah. Who wants to go first?
I guess I pulled up mine first. Is the audio quality is the audio quality okay?
It sounds incredible. Yes.
Yay. We're using a mic that's separate from phones or anything like that right now.
Incredible. You sound clear as water.
Oh, yay. I hope it's good water.
What type of water? Yeah.
Purified water. I said
Aw,
clear
yeah.
water.
I don't know, man. Some people like dye that stuff with like purple dye or
I don't think it'd be
Yeah,
clear
you're-
after that.
Yeah, you're
Huh?
right. You're right.
I am the voice actor for Cindy. My name is Vintage. Though y'all know that because you're here and people probably didn't start from this video. So this is the beginning of the character backstory. Birth to 5 years old. In a quiet hospital room in Puerto Rico, Australia, the air is still and the lights are dimmed to a soft, warm amber. Cindy Gummy enters the world in an environment designed for comfort, where her arrival is met with the steady, calm presence of her parents. On her soul, the word bounce is etched, a dormant potential that requires her own future imagination to awaken it. Her father holds her with gentle, firm grip, his thumb a sturdy anchor in her small palm. As she grows into a toddler, her home becomes a place of exploration where she spends hours on the living room floor, focused on the way light catches on the edges of her blocks. One afternoon, she discovers a set of plastic containers in the kitchen and spends her time stacking them by size, listening to the specific sound they make when the lids come off. Her parents move her around with easy attention, providing her with a recharge pod filled with heavy pillows where she can go whenever she needs to feel grounded and still. In this world of equity, the diagnosis of her specific mental wiring is a simple, helpful conversation in a doctor's office, a roadmap that her parents use to make sure her surroundings always fit her needs as she navigates the early patterns of her life. At age 4, the living room is defined by the television flickering to life and the upbeat, brassy theme of Dino Man filling the air. Cindy sits on her favorite rug, her eyes locked on the screen, as a hero in a yellow dinosaur armor and flowing purple cape leaps into action. She watches him draw a sword with a dinosaur footprint on the hilt, fighting off villains with a sense of purpose that resonates deep within her imagination. She begins to collect yellow fabric scraps, tying them around her neck to mimic the cape, and then practices the dino stance in front of the hallway mirror until it feels second nature. One Tuesday afternoon, while wearing her makeshift armor, she stands on the sofa and tries to imagine the floor is made out of that same kinetic energy Dino Man uses to jump. As she leaps, her mind finally connects to the word on her soul, to the action in her head. For a split second, she doesn't just fall. She springs back up. Her first intentional use of bounce, surprising even her. Her parents don't tell her to get off the furniture. Instead, her mother cheers and asks if the great Dino Man is ready for a refueling station snack of blueberry pancakes. This period is defined by the constant loop of her favorite episodes where she learns to map out the world through the lens of a superhero, finding her own hero's logic in the way her feet hit the ground.
Perfect. Now that we have that, what we're gonna do is switch between you and Jimmy so you can have a little bit of a rest.
Hi there, my name is Jimmy. I am voiced by Vintage. Oh, no. I am
Vintage.
sorry.
I'm
my
voiced
mistake.
by
Um,
Jimmy.
Hi,
welcome
my
back.
name is Jimmy Merkel. Marker.
And Ray's actually voiced by Vintage as well.
Yeah, exactly. I am actually voiced by Vintage. Like very multifaceted voice actor. You know, she's like handling
Truly.
3 computers at the same time.
Yeah, like totally.
Hi, I'm Vintage. I'm voiced by Cindy Gummy.
Hi,
So-
I'm Birch. I'm voiced by Miles Marlowe.
and hi, I am Volsey. I'm voiced by Jimmy Morkel.
Marker.
All right. So, yeah, my name is Volsey. I am the voice of Jimmy, as well as a few other people in the wide world of our channel. and I am going to be going over a bit of Jimmy's backstory, and we're gonna see how it goes. Honestly, it was beautiful to read, so I'm really excited to get to share it with everyone. If I can get my phone to
You
work.
gotta put it on rotate.
Oh, it is on
Do you have it in
rotate.
this extraneous location?
Yes.
You gotta have it on a secondary location.
Oh,
There you go. Why is it downloading?
love downloading stuff.
Okay, well now you have to go to your downloads. It's okay. Oh dang. Okay. Hit download and then you go click the yeah, there you go. And sideways that.
This,
Yeah.
this is the technical difficulty portion of the stream. Well, I don't know how technology works. Alright. Faye's early childhood, birth to age 5. The Morkel household. Dan and Sarah Morkel understood their son from the very beginning. They recognized that Jimmy was on the spectrum and experienced the world with a different intensity. So they built their home life to support his specific way of being. They prioritized clear communication and predictable routines, ensuring Jimmy always felt grounded and knew what to expect from his surroundings. Every morning, Dan sat with Jimmy to organize his dinosaur collection. Jimmy would spend an hour meticulously lining up his figures, explaining the specific anatomy of a parasaur crest, or the diet of an ankylosaurus. Dan never tried to redirect him or rush the conversation. He simply sat with his son, acknowledging the facts Jimmy shared. This routine was a cornerstone of their day, providing Jimmy with a sense of order and accomplishment. Sarah provided the sensory and emotional grounding Jimmy needed. She spoke with total clarity, avoiding metaphors and big words that Jimmy found confusing. When the textures of his clothing felt wrong or a sudden noise became too loud, Sarah would sit on the floor and let him lean against her until he felt regulated again. She didn't treat his autism as something to be fixed, but as a core part of who he was. The Clay Spinosaurus. One afternoon, the three of them were walking with Clay at the kitchen table. Jimmy was trying to scope the Spinosaurus, but the large cell kept collapsing. He was becoming increasingly distressed, his movements becoming jerky as the frustration built up.
Dan leaned in and held the base of the clay steady. It needs a stronger foundation, Jimmy. We can add more clay to the bottom so it doesn't tip.
Sarah found a small wooden dowel and showed Jimmy how to use it as an internal support.
Okay, I'll do them all. This acts like a spine. It gives the clay something to hold on to.
She stayed with him for the next hour, helping him smooth the clay in silence until the model looked exactly like the illustrations in his book. This was their dynamic, a supportive team that helped Jimmy navigate the physical and emotional hurdles of his day.
Okay, let's switch back to Cindy.
Oh, you're robot coded now. Is that for everyone?
Not on my end.
Oh, you're also a robot.
Beep boop.
Then it's
I will
probably
destroy
in
the
your
world.
end.
You're speaking in the language of robot angels.
Beep boop bop.
this is
Bop
quirky.
beep bop. Bop do bop.
Try to
bop.
try to rejoin again if it's too much, but you guys are sounding good from my end.
You're good
Welcome
now.
to McDonald's. How may I assist you today?
It sounded like that, but if you put it through Google Translate 100 times. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but like
It's actually,
technologically harmonious.
that was actually very accurate to what it sounded like.
Cindy, you can go forth.
During the years between ages 6 and 12, Cindy's world expands into the structured yet flexible environment of her elementary school in Puerto Rico, Australia. In this society of equity, her school is not a place where she is forced to conform, but a space that adapts to her autistic and ADHD mind. She remembers the first day of classes, walking into a room where the floors are covered in low gravity mats and the walls are painted in calming, neutral tones. Her education is tailored to her individual way of processing. She learns her mathematics while rhythmically bouncing on a specialized mat, the movement helping her ADHD brain stay locked into the numbers. The curriculum treats her autism and ADHD as normal facets of her identity, providing her with the tools she needs without making them a spectacle. She has a desk that allows her to stand and move, and her teachers understand that her intense focus on Dino Man is not a distraction, but a powerful engine for her learning. She spends her lunch breaks in the library poring over technical manuals about dinosaur anatomy and historical Sentai armor, her hyperfixation fueling a level of research that far exceeds her grade level. When the sensory hum of the school building occasionally feels too sharp, she simply moves to a designated quiet zone, a habit her peers treat with the same casualness as sharpening a pencil. Outside of her studies, these years are defined by her growing mastery over bounce. She spends her afternoons in the school's gymnasium, which is filled with trampolines and foam pits. She doesn't just jump, she begins to understand the logic of kinetic storage, imagining her soul as a coiled spring that releases exactly when she wants it to. She mimics the high-flying maneuvers of Dino Man, visualizing his yellow armor as she sticks the landing from 10 feet in the air. Her parents remain her steady anchors, attending every school exhibition and celebrating the way she navigates the world with both precision and joy, ensuring that she always has the space at home to decompress after a long day of being a hero in training.
Okay, let's jump back to Jimmy.
The pocket dimensions and the wheel of doors. Every doorway leads to a pocket dimension. The space looks exactly like the normal wall. When a person walks through a door, they step into this extra dimension. Doors are chaotic and have a will of their own. They do not like being used as tools. They force a state of amnesia on anyone who enters, making them forget where they are and what they were doing. This is why people go through a door and suddenly forget their purpose. Doors also kidnap people by making them forget the exit. This is the secret truth behind many disappearances that no one can explain. The martial art, the way of the door. The way of the door is a secret martial art used for combat. It is a training of the mind. A person learns how to stay aware and remember who they are while they are inside the pocket dimension. If they can resist the amnesia of the door, they can see the space clearly and choose the specific door they want to use to leave. This is very dangerous. If a person loses their focus for even a second, the door makes them forget everything, and then become a wanderer in the pocket dimension because they can no longer find an exit. The training incident. Sarah had been training with Dan for over 10 years. Because the way of the door is a martial art, they practiced through sparring. One afternoon, the house was filled with the sound of their movement as they engaged in a training fight. They were skipping through the house together, using doors to vanish from one room and appear in another, testing each other's focus and speed. Jimmy watched from the hallway as his parents moved with a fluidity that made the walls seem like suggestions. They were in the middle of a high-speed exchange, both entering the pocket dimension simultaneously. Dan stepped out of the dining room, turning to meet Sarah's next move, but the doorway remained empty. Sarah had lost her concentration while inside. The pocket dimension, the amnesia, or while inside the pocket dimension. The amnesia hit her instantly, and she forgot the exit she was aiming for. She became a permanent wanderer in that space. Dan went back through the door immediately, searching every corner of the pocket dimension version of their world. But he was alone. The doors had taken her.
"12 to 15. During the years between ages 12 and 15, the world opens up for Cindy through the steady glow of a computer screen. She becomes a traveler in the digital landscape, turning her attention towards the vast well of human knowledge available at her fingertips. Her days are spent cataloging a mountain of obscure facts, from the specific metal alloys used in Sentai armor to the precise physics required for a heavy object to achieve lift. She develops a reputation for being an effortless source of information, always ready with a bit of trivia or a surprising historical detail she shares with a calm, matter-of-fact confidence. This mastery over information provides a sense of quiet normalcy as she navigates her interests with the same focus and curiosity as she sees in the world around her. In the kitchen, her precision finds a new outlet through the art of baking. She approaches recipes as a series of chemical reactions, finding a deep, tactile sensation in the way the flour feels between her fingers, or the sound of a timer signaling the perfect rise. She spends her Saturday mornings experimenting with the structural integrity of different sponges, obsessed with achieving the perfect bounce in a cake that mirrors the logic of her own epithet. When she presents a plate of pastries to her parents, she does so while detailing the origin of cocoa beans or the history of the oven's design, her movements around the corners becoming fluid and synchronized with the rhythms of her home. By the time she reaches 15, Cindy has developed a grounded sense of self, shaped by the specialized education that allowed her to learn at her own pace. She views her experiences as universal, moving through her day with the assumption that everyone else is cataloging the world in their own detailed way. Her practice with bounds continues in the gymnasium, but it is informed by her research. She calculates her trajectories with the same care she uses to measure sugar, turning her power into a graceful extension of her physical presence. She stands at the edge of her high school years as a girl who knows how to find the answers she seeks, ready to take her mountain of knowledge into the next chapter of her life.
Great. Since Jimmy's is a little bit longer, Birch, you can help with each paragraph so that essentially Jimmy can rest a little bit between them.
Okay.
So yeah.
All right.
So we'll leave 15 to 18 for now until we're able to reach that for Jimmy because
Yeah.
Jimmy does have a lot more.
So we're at the Great Rejection, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
And then how far am I reading to?
I mean,
I can
just
read. I can read it however much you want.
yeah, like each paragraph has a little name to it. You can just read that, divide
The
it.
Great
into you guys.
Rejection. The heartbreak changed everything. Dan and Jimmy were devastated by the loss of the woman who had been their anchor. Jimmy felt a deep, focused anger at the doors that had betrayed his mother. He chose to reject the way of the door and the magic of the gateways entirely. Because he rejected doors, the doors rejected him. To Jimmy, a closed door is now a solid wall. He does not see handles or hinges. He sees a flat surface that he cannot pass. He keeps this a secret, waiting for Dan or his teachers to open these walls for him. Once the path is opened by someone else, he walks through. Dan knows Jimmy is climbing through windows or waiting in halls, and it is a constant reminder of the loss they both share.
the soul-walled doll. Jimmy was born with the epithet doll tied to his soul. It is a part of his essence, and he has always felt it. When it manifests, he can transform into any kind of doll, regardless of size or material. He can also extend his will to control other dolls around him. While transformed, Jimmy's ability to perceive the world is magically tied to the physical features of the doll form. If the doll has eyes, he can see. If it has ears, he can hear. If it has a mouth, he can project his voice magically to speak. If a doll form is missing any of these features, Jimmy is missing that corresponding sense while in that form. He retains his senses of touch, feeling anything that makes contact with the doll's surface. Despite these senses, he is completely paralyzed while transformed. He cannot move his limbs or body. This created his greatest fear, getting stuck. Jimmy is terrified of losing the ability to change back into a human and becoming motionless or becoming a motionless object forever. This dread manifests in a recurring nightmare of the toy box. In the nightmare, he is trapped as a doll and thrown into a dark bin, buried under heavy objects where he can feel the weight pressing down on him, unable to move, speak, or ever return to his life.
Phase, elementary years, ages 5 to 10. The absent father. Following the loss of Sarah, the home environment shifted from a supportive team to a house of ghosts. Dan Marker became consumed by the pocket dimension every free moment he had, after work, late at night, and every weekend he spent inside the gateways. He was convinced that if he just looked behind one more door or maintained his focus for one more hour, he would find Sarah. This made Dan an absent father. While he was physically in the house, his mind was always on the next door. Jimmy was left to navigate his daily routines alone. The predictable morning dino sorting and the sensory grounding sessions ended. Jimmy had to learn to regulate himself, often retreating to his room to sew or draw while he heard the constant clicking of doorknobs as his father entered and exited the pocket dimension in a desperate, endless search.
The living doll and the playground. School became a place of high stress for Jimmy. Without the grounding presence of his mother, his epithet began to manifest more frequently. When he felt overwhelmed by the noise of the cafeteria or the social pressure of his classroom, he would involuntarily transform. Other children would be mid-sentence when Jimmy would suddenly shrink and harden into a plastic porcelain or plush figure. Because he felt isolated, Jimmy used his power to control other dolls to act as his companions. He would bring handmade dinosaur plushies or small figures to school and make them move and interact with him. To the other children, this was unsettling. Watching a boy turn into a motionless object while the toys around him twitched and mimicked life was creepy. The bullying started early. He was labeled with nicknames like the Living Doll and Doll Boy. These names weren't just insults. They became a social brand that stuck with him throughout elementary school. The other kids didn't understand that he was still there, hearing and seeing everything. And they often treated his doll form with a lack of respect that fed into his nightmare of being an object.
Social isolation and the spiteful wall. As the bullying worsened, Jimmy retracted further into his rejection of doors. While his father was obsessed with the pocket dimension, Jimmy grew to loathe it even more. He viewed the doors as the thing that stole his mother and turned his father into a shell of a man. He perfected his wall workaround. He memorized every window and fire escape at his school. If he found himself alone in a hallway with a closed door, he would simply wait. He wouldn't touch the handle. He wouldn't acknowledge the wall. He would stand perfectly still, sometimes for 20 minutes, until a janitor or teacher opened the path. This behavior only reinforced his reputation as the weird kid.
The fear of the stuck state. During this phase, Jimmy's fear of getting stuck reached its peak. Because he was transforming so often due to stress, he lived in constant dread that one day the change wouldn't reverse. Every time he felt the plastic or porcelain take over his skin, his first thought was, "Is this the time I stay like this?" When he was in doll form and the other kids would poke him or mock him, he couldn't move to defend himself. He could only project his voice magically if the doll had a mouth, but usually he stayed silent to avoid more attention. He spent his nights in his room, practicing his control over other dolls, trying to turn his fear into a skill he could use, even if he still hated the world tethered to his soul.
I think Cindy goes now because we're at 11 to 13.
No, we're at mine's is 15 to 18.
Never mind. My bad.
Me too, man. Me too.
Phase, middle school years, ages 11 to 13. The late return of Dan Marker. After years of obsessively searching the pocket dimension, Dan finally hit a breaking point. The realization that Sarah was truly gone and that he had lost years of his son's childhood while chasing a ghost broke his spirit. He stopped opening doors in the empty space. He finally began the process of grieving his wife's disappearance. Dan tried to step back into the role of a father, but the gap between them had grown too wide. He would spend hours in the kitchen trying to make elaborate meals, attempting to recreate the family dinner dynamic they used to have. He would call Jimmy down, hopeful for a conversation. But Jimmy wouldn't engage. The trust was gone. Jimmy had spent years raising himself while his father was lost in gateways, and he wasn't interested in the sudden efforts.
The self-sustained routine. Jimmy's life in middle school became one of intense self-reliance. He developed a diet that was predictable and safe, avoiding the complex smells and textures of the food Dan tried to cook. Jimmy lived almost exclusively on two things: Dino Bites, a cereal fortified with all the vitamins he needed, and grilled cheese sandwiches that he made himself. He perfected the process of making the perfect sandwich. Always the same bread, the same cheese, and the same golden brown crust. This was his control. While his father hovered in the background, trying to be supportive, Jimmy focused on the tactile, reliable reality of his own cooking. He didn't need Dan's help, and he made that clear by eating his Dino Bites in silence, ignoring the normal life his father was trying to build. Too late.
The skill of the needle. With his social circle non existent and his father a source of tension, Jimmy poured his energy into manual crafts. He became obsessed with sewing. He didn't just fix his clothes, he began creating intricate, anatomically correct dinosaur plushies and custom clothes for his dolls. He found that working with a needle required the same level of focus as his dinosaur facts. It was quiet, it was precise, and the results were tangible. He would spend hours in his room, surrounded by fabric scraps and thread, perfecting the stitch on a that's a word. Theory Thrizinosaurus? Perfecting the stitch on a Sorry, one more time.
Therizinosaurus.
Therizino? Therizinosaurus. Okay. Perfecting the stitch on a Therizinosaurus claw. This skill also served as a practical tool for his epithet. He began sewing extra details, eyes, ears, and mouths onto his dolls to ensure that when he controlled them, he wouldn't be missing any of his senses.
Question. Would I be able to read the next two ports? Because I really like that port. I really want
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
Yay. Don't worry. I have written like 15 chapters of a book and narrated it all back to back without a break, so I'm used to narrating within the last week.
Okay, no worries.
The silence of the wall. Jimmy's rejection of doors remained absolute in middle school. Absolute. In middle school, he was the student who was always early for class, not because he was eager, but because he had to get there before the door was closed for the period. If a teacher shut the door, Jimmy would simply stay outside, staring at the wall until someone opened it. He never asked for help. He never explained why he was standing in the hall. He just waited. His father, now more present and observant, watched this behavior with a mix of guilt and sorrow. Dan knew exactly why Jimmy saw a wall where a door should be. He knew it was a physical manifestation of his son's spite towards the martial art that took Sarah. But whenever Dan tried to bring it up or apologize, Jimmy would just pick up his box of Dino Bites and walk to his room, leaving his father alone in the kitchen. Phase: the developing self, ages 13 to 15. The internet and the new ethics. As Jimmy entered his teens, his world expanded beyond the walls of his house and the lockers of his school. He found a new sense of community and information on the internet. Through video essays, social media, and digital communities, he began to piece together a moral framework for himself. While The Way of the Door had been about secret martial arts and combat, Jimmy discovered a different kind of strength, kindness, and justice. He remembered the core ethics his parents taught him as a child, being supportive and clear. and he combined them with the positive "be the best version of yourself" messaging he found online. He became a person with a very strong sense of justice. This was a manifestation of his artistic perspective. He saw right and wrong as clear, logical constants. He decided he wanted to be helpful and positive, even if he remained naturally shy and soft-spoken. The Mask of the Smile. Jimmy made a conscious effort to be a positive presence in the world. He started trying to smile more and be helpful to his peers, even those who had previously mocked him. He didn't do this to fit in, but because he believed it was the right way to exist. He would quietly fix a classmate's torn backpack with his sewing kit, or share his meticulous dinosaur notes with someone who had been absent. Forgiveness and the lingering rift. During this phase, Jimmy reached a point of internal peace regarding his father. He understood that Dan had been drowning in grief, and he chose to forgive him for those years of absence. He began responding to Dan's attempts at connection, actually sitting at the table sometimes and answering questions with more than a one-word answer. However, the relationship remained strained. Once Dan felt forgiveness, he immediately began trying to push Jimmy back toward the way of the door. He saw Jimmy's new positive outlook as a sign that he was ready to face the pocket dimension again. Jimmy treated his father with kindness, but he firmly disconnected whenever the martial art was brought up. He would smile, thank his father for the food, and then immediately retreat to his room or head out a window. For Jimmy, the rejection of the doors wasn't a phase to be cured, it was a final decision. Every time Dan tried to show him a gateway, Jimmy's brain simply saw a solid, unmoving wall. He wasn't being mean, he was simply denying a reality he no longer believed in. Okay, Borch, you can take over the next one.
The evolving soul world. As his personality became more justice forward, Jimmy's view of his epithet began to shift. He still carried the nightmare of the toy box, but he started to see the doll word as a tool for his new ethics. If he saw someone being treated unfairly, he would use his ability to control other dolls to intervene in small, subtle ways, tripping a bully or creating a distraction. He was still terrified of getting stuck as an inanimate object, but the desire to be the best person he could be pushed him to experiment with his power more than ever before. He wasn't just a doll boy anymore. He was a person trying to navigate a complex world with a set of rules he had built for himself.
Okay, now we jumped to Cindy.
The transition to high school in Puerto Rico, Australia begins on a crowded school bus where Cindy finds her usual seat. Man, why? Where Cindy finds her usual seat taken by two strangers who refuse to budge. Instead of pushing the issue, she scans the aisles and spots a boy sitting alone in the back corner. She slides into the seat next to Jimmy Marker, immediately attempting to bridge the gap by sharing an earbud and playing high-speed breakcore beats he uses for a dopamine boost. When the conversation shifts to the dinosaurs on his hoodie, Cindy finds a fellow enthusiast, joking about the house cat versions of ancient reptiles. When Jimmy reveals his epithet is dull and that people find him creepy, Cindy counters him instantly, viewing his abilities through the lens of a future hero. To her, he isn't a freak. He's a potential teammate with a power perfect for stealth. The bond with Jimmy is tested and solidified. Y'all, English is hard, and it's my one language.
It's all good.
The bond with Jimmy is tested and solidified in the school hallway during the lunch break. They witness a senior bully with a strength epithet cornering a shorter student named Gadget over homework. Cindy watches with tactical interest as Jimmy intervenes, using a Dinostraction plushie he had sewn to entrance the bully. As the charm takes hold, Cindy sees her opening and drives her legs up with a calculated bounce. delivering a powerful uppercut that sends the bully into the ceiling. In the aftermath, they help Gadget up and realize the boy was being bullied into doing the senior's work. The trio forms an immediate, permanent connection. Following the fight, the three of them decide to join the school's anime club, which is already a puzzling hub of other students who receive extra credit for watching series. Among the crowd of club members, the trio finds their own safe anchor, where their specific interests are simply a part of the room's energy. It is within the walls of this club that Cindy finally introduces Jimmy and Gadget to the original Dino Man, the Sentai inspired show that has been her blueprint for heroism since she was a toddler.
Perfect. We can jump back to Jimmy now.
Boch, I'm going to let you do the next one because I'm gonna want to do like the next 3 to catch up with Cindy.
Okay. Phase, high school, and the foundation of friendship. Ages 15 to 18. The nightmare of the box. Despite his growing social confidence, Jimmy's fear of his epithet remained a private struggle. He continued to suffer from a recurring nightmare of being trapped in a dark toy box as a motionless object. In these dreams, his own toys would taunt him, claiming he would stay with them forever, and that no one would ever love a creepy doll boy.
The shadow of the past. Because Jimmy grew up in a city where most students attended the same elementary and middle schools, his reputation preceded him into high school. He remained the weird kid and the doll boy to the majority of his peers. Despite the persistent bullying, Jimmy maintained his commitment to the positive ethics he had developed online, attempting to be helpful and just even when thank you. To be helpful and just, even when faced with disdain. He continued to navigate the school by waiting for others to open walls for him, a quiet routine that most classmates simply ignored or used as full reason to ostracize him. The meeting on the bus. Jimmy's isolation was interrupted by Cindy Gummy, a high-energy student with the epithet Bounce. They first connected on the school bus when Cindy, finding her usual seat taken, sat next to Jimmy. Cindy and Jimmy found common ground in a mutual love for dinosaurs. And when Jimmy hesitantly explained his doll epithet and his reputation as the living doll, Cindy did not find it creepy. Instead, she viewed it as a cool power for a stealthy superhero, mocking the first time someone outside his family saw value in his soul world. The Anime Club and Gadget. Jimmy, Cindy, and Gadget eventually formed a close-knit bond centered largely around their shared participation in the school's anime club. This group provided Jimmy with a safe social anchor where his meticulous nature was appreciated rather than mocked. The friendship with Gadget was solidified when Jimmy and Cindy intervened to stop a senior bully with a strength epithet from harassing Gadget over homework. Jimmy used a Dinostraction, a doll he had sewn to have a charming effect, to entrance the bully, allowing Cindy to deliver a decisive blow. While the trio did not become the Dinomorphs during this time, Cindy and Jimmy began to discuss a future as superheroes. They picked out potential names, with Jimmy leaning toward the living doll, and Cindy choosing Bouncerella.
Oh, yes. Yippee.
I
The trip-
forgot about the backgrounds. Like, I literally prepared the backgrounds to switch between you guys, and I just started doing it. So
Me too. Me too. The trip to Japan. Walking through the neon-lit hobby shops of Japan, the bustling Australian city that had lived in her imagination since she was 5, Cindy felt a rare sense of total alignment. Her ADHD mind, usually a whirlwind of fun facts and Dino Man trivia, had focused its focus onto one person, Jimmy Marker. As the rest of Anime Club drifted towards a distant arcade, their voices fading into the urban hum, Cindy led Jimmy into a quiet park where the cherry blossom trees stood heavy with pink petals. She stopped near a stone bench and took Jimmy's hands, her grip firm and grounded. The petals falling around them felt like high-speed visuals from her favorite breakcore tracks, but her heart was steady. Looking into his eyes, she bypassed any social rules she struggled with and went straight for the truth. I've been waiting for the right moment to say this, but I've I've been waiting for the right moment to say this, but I realized there just isn't one, Cindy said, her voice clear and unwavering. I don't want us to be friends anymore. I want to be with you, Jimmy. I want you to be my boyfriend.
Jimmy looked at her, his usual need to categorize and plan falling away. He felt the warmth of her hands and the weight of the moment. He didn't need to consult a list of variables. I don't think I could imagine being with anyone else, Jimmy said. You're the only person who makes sense to me. Yes, Cindy, I'd love to be your boyfriend.
Cindy laughed, a bright sound of relief and joy, and pulled him into a hug. Resting her head against his chest, she felt the permanent bond she had sensed since the bus ride finally lock into place, the scent of the blossoms marking the start of their new reality. Back in Puerto Rico, their shared weekends became a ritual of comfort and hyperfixation. They sat in Jimmy's room, the blue dinosaur hoodie he had bought in Japan draped nearby, as the transformation sequences of Dino Man played on the screen. Cindy's eyes would light up during every episode, her mind spinning with hero logistics, while Jimmy's hands were busy with his sewing kit. Is that your new prototype? Cindy asked one afternoon, leaning her shoulder against his.
It's for you.
Jimmy said, handing her the finished doll. It was a perfectly scaled Dino Man, but he had added reinforced a hand-sewn cape in a deep indigo.
I used a triple stitch. I used a triple stitch on the seams. It's professional quality. I wanted you to have a version that wouldn't wear out, no matter how much you handle it.
Cindy took the figure, her thumb moving over the smooth fabric, feeling the incredible care he had put into every stitch. You put so much work into this, Jimmy.
I like doing things for you, he replied simply. Watching you enjoy the show is my favorite part of the weekend. I just wanted to contribute to that.
For Cindy, the gift wasn't just a toy. It was proof that she had found a partner who appreciated her intense focus and saw the world with the same detailed clarity that she had. Would you like to?
The promposal. The sun was beginning to set, painting the sky in colors of orange and soft gold. Jimmy and Cindy were sitting on their favorite bench in the park, the one that looked out over the pond. It was a quiet afternoon, the kind where the air felt still and comfortable. Jimmy felt a sense of peace just being near her. He wasn't looking at his phone or thinking about his next project. He was just watching the way the light caught the edges of Cindy's hair.
The air was still and comfortable, the kind of quiet that usually makes my mind wander to 1,000 different fun facts, but today, my focus was entirely on him. I watched the light catch the edges of his hair and felt a deep, steady pull in my chest. I knew how much we had both been looking forward to the end of our senior year, and I didn't want to leave anything to chance. I turned towards him, making sure my expression was serious so he knew how much I meant this, though I could feel my eyes softening as I looked at him. I reached out and took his hand, my thumb tracing small circles over his knuckles, feeling the familiar, grounding warmth of his skin. Jimmy, I said, keeping my voice steady. I've been thinking about this for a few weeks now, and I didn't want to wait for you to ask me because I know how much we've both been looking forward to the end of this year. I saw the warmth flutter in his expression as he squeezed my hand back, giving me his full attention.
What is it, Cindy?
Prom is coming up, I told him. I didn't look away. I looked right into his eyes, wanting him to feel like the only person in the world, just like he had always made me feel. And I don't want to go with just anyone. I want to go with the man who's always been my rock. I want to go with the person who understands me better than I understand myself sometimes. I took a short breath and let a smile break through. Jimmy, will you go to prom with me? Not just as a date, but as my partner. I want to spend the whole night celebrating how far we've come together.
Jimmy felt a wave of emotion wash over him. It wasn't a confusing wave. It was clear and bright. He thought about all the hours they had spent talking, the way she stayed up late with him when he was stressed, and the way she always knew when he needed a quiet moment. He realized in that second that she wasn't just asking him to a dance. She was telling him that he was the person she chose for her life.
I thought about all the hours we'd spent talking, the nights I'd stayed up with him when his projects felt like too much, and how we'd built this language together that didn't need big words or metaphors to feel real.
He felt a huge weight of love in his heart, a feeling so big it made his breath catch for a second. He looked at her, seeing the girl who had become his everything. "Cindy," I said, my voice a bit thick with feeling. "There is nothing in this world that would make me happier. I've been trying to find the right words to ask you, but you always seem to know exactly what I'm thinking before I even say it." I moved closer to her, my shoulder brushing against hers. "You've given me so much support. You made me feel like I didn't have to be perfect to be loved. Yes, I want to go with you. I want to be there with you for every second of it."
I felt a wide smile spread across my face, the kind that makes my eyes crinkle at the corners. I leaned in and I rested my forehead against his, closing my eyes and just breathing in the warmth of the moment. In this world where things could be loud and opinions on people like us could shift, having his hand in mine felt like the only thing that mattered. This is going to be perfect.
It's already perfect.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
I've been wanting to do this one for a while.
We have,
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I am so happy right now. I'm incredibly happy. This is gonna be a week high for me when I listen back to it as well. But that was really cool. Now, like, since we have time, like, I really want to hear, like, each one of you, like, talk about how it felt going through this character information and essentially, like, learning about these things and how it's going to influence your playing the main story characters for the future. Because I do know that, like, I in a very in a way that Birch and one of my other friends is trying to guide me towards some more to like backstory stuff making more sense in my head, because sometimes I'm like, backstory, who needs it? It's happening in the past, who cares? It's not in the now. But I think, like, this, like, I'm practicing a lot with making character Bibles, and, like, I think the most important thing to me is having, like, what made this person who they are is kind of more
Yeah.
and that's, like, of course that's what a backstory does, but I think, like, sometimes when people think about backstories, it's usually like, oh, like, it's this either, like, something dramatic has to happen, or, like, something very dark, or something like that. It was like, that's, like, the usual thing for a backstory, right? It's like to have, like, a source of conflict to come later in the story that you're gonna tell. And I kind of don't like that. Like, I personally, like, feel like in real life there are things from your past that will come, like, at some point to get you, but most of the things that you do and most of the things that you learned, like, are not sometimes you live a completely different life, right, than what you had in the past. But those things in the past still influence who you are, and that's kind of like what I wanted for these backstories. Although Jimmy's is a little bit more tragic, that was, like, a funny thing that we made up. That then I was like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that one stream where everyone
Yeah.
was on like 3 hours of sleep, there would not be the way of the doors.
Yeah, but that's what I love about like comedy is the fact that it's sorry, improv. It's such a cool tool, and I think I still would have done it this way. I still would have done playing the characters first, kind of like finding out like the grounds of who they are in a couple of first sessions, and then doing this, because I think like having had like actually done the first season sessions helped me like understand who the characters were right now, so I could like essentially go back and be like, how did they end up being the way they are now? And I feel like I still would do it this way moving forward. And I kind of like the idea of approaching all my projects like it's like a tabletop game first. Even if I wasn't recording it or anything, I would just do it like with someone else, and like we would like tell the story, and then after that I would do the script and stuff like that, because I think it's so interesting, this kind of storytelling, because like Jello Apocalypse did it, right? And you've seen it as well. We've seen it now done with Dimension 20, because Dimension 20 has released a comic book based on their first campaign, and you have also, that's Fantasy High, and then you also have what's it called, Critical Role, making the Vox Machina shows on Prime Video and the Mighty Nine animated show, and it was used to be a tabletop game like that they did like completely, and then it was turned into this show. So I think like there's something interesting about combining improvisation and then turning that into like a scripted thing that you could like change things that happen or make it like fit like new things for narrative purposes. I think it's such an interesting way of telling stories now, that like a lot of like the D&D space and the tabletop role playing games are like diving into, and I have found that I really like it. I think it's like it's very cool because you not only get to write by yourself, but it feels like a writer's room. It feels like you're while you're playing with other people, they're giving these ideas of who these characters are, and it feels like everybody's working together to achieve telling this like cool story, for it to then be modified to something more scripted and more like detailed, basically. And yeah, like how, like whoever wants to start first, but how is that experience like as a voice actor?
So for me, this specific read is something I've wanted to do for a long time, because I did feel like it really did make Jimmy who he is in the streams. It not only accentuated how I've already played Jimmy, but it also reinforced it to an extent. Jimmy's hesitancy around using his ability in the main campaign for most of all of it, I never really had a particular reason for why he always hesitated. It just felt like something he would do. It felt like he viewed himself as a support character, which, I mean, his ability is, but it felt like from a psychological perspective, he viewed himself as someone who would not step in to be more hands-on unless it was a more physical task. And I figured there should be some sort of backstory for that, but knowing that he is terrified of his ability and he's terrified of what it can do, or getting trapped like that, really does put it into perspective of how I've played him and how I'm probably going to continue to play him, because that's something he can learn from. He can grow more confident, more comfortable over time, and eventually he will feel like he is more than just his soul ward. He will feel like he is more than just his epithet, and he will feel like he has control over his epithet, because it is, in all senses, who he is and a part of him, but he is also more than that. And I feel like going forward, that would be really nice to get to explore a little bit more. He did have a lot of like trouble in his youth, but I'm really looking forward to seeing that kind of grow and develop as he overcomes things like that. It was also just really nice to see the autism representation and how it was treated because a lot of people don't get that.
It's really refreshing.
It's really refreshing. And so I was really happy to get to see that. And every scene with Cindy does warm my heart and make me so happy seeing Jimmy and Cindy like that. And it, for me, I know it's probably not intended like this, but it is a reflection of mine and Vintage's relationship as well. Anytime we play these two characters, we do become ourselves in a sense, and we treat each other like we would treat each other. And so it's really nice getting to experience that as a voice actor and come away feeling like I did put my heart and soul into it, and what I put into it was real. It's a really nice feeling.
It's really funny looking at the character Bible and going, I don't know if I've ever discussed this part of my past with you. How did you know that I wanted to be a baker in middle school? And was like considering opening a bakery in middle school. How did you know that? Oh,
Yeah, I like honestly like I've been just translate what you guys have been doing and the vibes that you guys have been giving to what I've seen, and that's what I've wrote.
I
So
had
it's like,
such an intense reaction when you were like, yeah, his favorite dinosaur, the Spinosaurus. I'm like, how did you know that was my favorite dinosaur?
yeah, no, like I don't know, I'm a wizard, ADHD wizardy.
in there.
That's all brain. You're not
That's
supposed to be
my
in there. Would you
No,
like to say?
but now that you mentioned that, like I really wanted that to be part of it. Ever since I found out like about me being on the spectrum and having ADHD, I've been trying my best to find a way to put that in a story where it doesn't feel forced and like, and that's why like I still want this to be like a little like storybook kind of thing of like we'll probably do this as an OVA and all that stuff. But I think it plays a big part of on who these characters are. I don't think we have like legit like mentioned it in the story itself, like in the sessions or anything like that. And I think it was like it's just like I just like confirmed it from like the very beginning of like they're on the spectrum and like that's who they are. And like I think um I don't think I've seen something like this because it's like it's really hard to see it done properly. Um and it is I know this is and it's a spectrum, so it's not going to be the same, but that's what I love about these two characters, that they're both very different in where they are in the spectrum and the different experiences they had as well and the different lives they had, because you do have Jimmy did have a lot of support at the beginning of his life, then like he had to learn how to regulate himself, and that is like an experience that, and I wanted the world to have a equity, right? But I still think that neglect can happen anyways for different reasons, and I think that the introduction of that like the way of the door and all that stuff that was supposed to be silly, like I thought it was a good way to kind of like, oh, this is great for a character who is on the spectrum to kind of like be able to find a way to like regulate himself, find a way to find who he is, even though his parents like being neglectful, right? It's because that's a real experience. That's something that happens, and it's like, for example, like I like I know that our people have gone further, right, and worse things over the years. But for me personally, like my parents never knew anything in particular. Like I was diagnosed in college, so like I had to. Although my parents were teachers, that helped me a lot, right? Because they overly helped me with homework and all this stuff. They knew how the system works, so they would help me with that stuff without like they knew I was a child that needed more help. That's what they knew. They were still very at the time they were still a bit ableist in the way of thinking. So I was just a normal child who needed, or quote unquote normal child who needed more help, right? And that's what they did. But like, and when I started finding out about ADHD, like, and I started suggesting it to my parents, and we were like, "No, you don't have that. That's not a thing you have. You're fine. You're good. You're like everyone else." And it's like there is that sense of like me learning it on the internet, learning from someone else, and be going like, okay, I do feel these things, and this explains a lot of the things that I go through. And I had to like build essentially learning that I started building my own way of dealing with things. Because, you know, I wasn't giving the tools for it. So I had to like, just try my best. Like with Jimmy, with the bullying that he faced, like I went through a lot of that. Like I was the weird kid. I was the freak. I was like, I played with a lot of toys and dolls growing up, and children were maturing faster than me, and I felt isolated because I was this little, like, everybody thought I was, oh, you're such a little kid and all this stuff. And it's like I put a lot of that in there. Then like for Cindy, I kind of wanted to have a character who grew up in an environment where she was able to grow up like very, very essentially a very safe environment where we could see like a little bit of a reflection of that, and how it made her who she is as a person. So it's like you have these two conflicting people coming together, and they balance each other very well because of their experiences. And it's so beautiful, and I I'm really happy. You don't get to see a lot of relationships just from the get-go in media. Usually there's like a build up to it in cartoons and stuff like that. It's just like the will they won't they thing, or the build up to like a relationship and stuff like that. So you see all this like stuff, but seeing a relationship that already has an established past and is able to be with each other through thick and thin, and just like no matter what the world throws at them, we'll be together, we'll help each other through our problems, through our issues. Just like the little detail of Cindy being the one that helps him with the doors, like I, even though that was a joke at like when we started like doing the thing of like ladies first, opening the door, like now it like has a brand new meaning to it of like her helping him with something he struggles with, and I feel like that's beautiful. Like and that's not like I'll let you talk more because you guys are playing the characters, but I think it's I don't know, I love being able to see these characters and the way they are, and just the when I came up with them for the first time, this is what I wanted, and you guys have been able to play these characters in a way where I like. That's why when you like. I was really happy when you won the gauntlet of Cindy's, because from all of them, you did such a interesting take on the character that I was like, this is what I was envisioning more than anything else. And I was, but I'm still very undecisive, so I did the gauntlet for that reason, and I'm glad that you won. Like, I'm really glad that you were the one who won, because without you winning, first of all, Cindy would not be the character she is now, because you've made her into the character that I wanted to see, and that's incredible. Like, and without you, we wouldn't have a Jimmy that actually fits what I was actually looking for as well. Like, and
That is true.
you, like, Varsity, you do such a good job of playing Jimmy and who Jimmy is. Like, and when you were brought in, I was like, from the very beginning, I was like, oh my gosh, you are Jimmy. Like, you are him. Like, that, like, you are this character. And there's such a wonderful thing when you're able to find the voice actors that match perfectly with your characters, in such a beautiful way, where it's like, it's not only people who just come in and play the part, but it's people who, like you guys, who are enthusiastic, and you guys were the ones that went like, hey, like, maybe we could have like a little more expansion on the past of these characters. I was like, yeah, definitely, like, I should do that, actually. Like,
Yeah, I am
and
very pattern based, and so having all of the background definitely does help inform decisions going forward.
mm-hmm. So I'm also thankful for that, because, like, after like doing this exercise of like coming up with a Bible, character Bible, I was like, oh my gosh, this is why people, I understand backstories now. So I get it. But like, yeah, because I would struggle so much with understanding what's the point of backstory sometimes. But now, like, because of the way you guys play, like, I was able to find the groove of, like, I kind of know who these characters are already. Let me just, like, further that, for like, find out why they are the way they are, and in because of their past. So it's like, it was really fun. I had a lot of fun writing this and just coming up with the stuff. And we've spoken a little bit about some of these things, so you guys have writing credits in this too, because, like, you guys have brought up so much, you have made so much of who these characters are as well. So yeah, like, if you have like more to say, like, I would be happy to hear it, because I don't know, yeah, go ahead.
It's definitely been a really fun world to play around in, and I don't think I would have ever been introduced to the concept without being added on to this project. So, thank you so much for continuing to have me on it. I'm very glad
Aw,
that my
shucks.
special interest
You're
in the
welcome.
Hunger Games from middle school served me well and got me on the project. Though we've seen how that can go a little silly. Um, I definitely see Cindy as someone who, like, has all of the, like, right materials to be popular, but we don't see any of that, and I think she just doesn't notice. Which, to be fair, you apparently crawled into my skull for that one as well, because, I never realized that a ton of people wanted to be my friends. I just thought I was the decision outcast. She was silly, she was quirky as a child. Um, but it's
Yeah, I just like the
nice.
idea of, like, her just, like, being just, like, very nice and very, very popular with every single person, of like, oh, hi, Cindy, like, and stuff like that. It's like, that's very fun.
She has the same, like, charming qualities as a cat who just, like, walks into your lap, like, "Hi, friend. I don't know why you're here, nor how you got here, but I'm not gonna turn you away. Hi." Cool.
Yeah, like, I mean, that's why she's like the number one, like, wait, like, staff member in the coffee shop and everything. It's like, and everybody, all the employees love her, and
Yeah.
all
She just
the
has
and all
really
the
meow
like,
meow personality.
yeah, and all the people, all the like people that come in regularly, like, are like, she's the best.
Oh.
Yeah, like I would like
Uh,
to know, furthermore, like, what do you guys think about, because like originally, like, I Dino Man was something that wasn't around, but was an idea that I had in my head. That's why, like, I did all the plushies and all the like clothing and stuff like that with the colors of Dino Man, and had the um action figure for Jimmy being Dino Man and stuff like that. What do you guys think about, like, what do you guys think about that aspect as well, of like, it's such a, it is like an interesting thing to have it be Cindy who introduces Jimmy to it. Because at the beginning, when I was first writing this, like, Jimmy was the one that would like really like the show and stuff like that, and he wanted to be the hero, and Cindy was like the supporting. But like, you like brought up like something that made a lot of sense to me way back at the beginning of the project, when you were like, when I was explaining the stuff to you, uh Vintage, and you were like, well, if she's the main character, would it make more sense that she's the one who wants to be the hero? And I was like, actually, yeah, that would make a lot more sense. And like that was like a core change that I made from the original idea. And I kind of like, now it's like, it's very interesting to me to be able to actually solidify it here in the backstory of her having this hyperfixation on Dino Man, and how that influenced her like want to be a hero based on this TV show. Like, how do you feel about that?
It definitely makes a lot of sense. I very deeply love that they both end up bonding together over this show later on, and that she is allowed to just watch the same episodes over and over and over, and that's a perfectly acceptable thing, and that her interests are so heavily supported. I also love how a lot of her backstory shows that she is so supportive that she has never had to really take a socially submissive role. And so this really leads to her being very extroverted and very socially dominant and very loud and a little bit in your face and bubbly, because she's never really faced opposition that has lasted more than 5 minutes. And so that creates a lot of really fun, like, social dynamics that, you know, retroactively make more sense because of this backstory. How she really just talks like she's never experienced adversity ever.
Yeah,
She's like,
that's why
"Yeah,
that
you were
that,
just
that
a
could
villain to me, and
yeah,
your
that
words
could be
can't
like a
hurt me. I have parents who love me."
yeah, exactly. Like, I think that's why, like, that could be like a really good reason to why she has acted the way she did on the isekai world, because that is like opposition into like another level of like, oh my gosh,
Yeah, no, it really
like,
does, like, make
it
her make
feels
more
like
sense
that
too.
was like an overwhelming situation, and she like got super overwhelmed because of it. And like, I find that very interesting, and I also find it interesting that because of that, because it was overwhelming for her, Jimmy steps in to be the more action heavy person in that game because of that.
Especially since Jimmy has had to rough and tumble his own constantly and had to overcome adversity literally constantly, he is
Yeah.
forced into this more dominant role during fights. And since Cindy cannot succeed at a single fight in that campaign, she is forced into this role of learning how to handle rejection from the universe. Because everything has gone her way, and now everything really is stacked against specifically her. And yes, like, people have worse issues going on, but there's only so much of that she can really conceptualize. She doesn't really get
Yeah.
held down by things very much. She's a little
Yeah,
distractible.
Most things bounce off her.
Most things bounce off her, and things don't typically
think-
stay sticky on her.
I think
One
that's really
thing-
fascinating to think about. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go first.
No, that was just I was just gonna say that comment.
Oh.
One thing for me about the whole aspect that she was inspired by a TV character and Dino Man and the superhero figure is I have had experiences like that where I would idolize a fictional character or TV like something like a superhero or something like that, and it would always inspire me to do more with myself. And so I've always liked the genre of someone having an idol. And regardless of whether or not that idol turns out to be what they think, that idealized version that they've seen, pushing them to be a symbol and be a figure of justice or a figure of good in the world. I really like that as a trope and as a genre. And I'm really glad that that is incorporated because it's just so feel good and it gives you the mind state that anyone can do this if they just do it, you know?
Yeah, and it I feel it's so fascinating to me. This world is really fascinating because you have villains and you have cops and you have the mafia and you have all these more crime based and corrupt or stupid people, and and the main idea of the show is just what if we introduce into this world that only has those things superheroes, right? Who would be the person to start doing that? And my thought was yeah, I think these two these two would do that, and because particularly in the way they live their lives and everything, and just who they are as people, also. So it's I find it cool to introduce superheroes into this world, because it hasn't been done before, and I find that very fascinating. So it's for these two to be the first to do it is really fun, and I to be inspired by a show is really funny to me because it's a thing of why hasn't anyone done this before? We have superpowers and we have free will.
Yeah, there's the societal pressures of fitting in and things like that. Realistically, all it took was someone with the will to do so, and a lot of people just didn't, you know? And so because she was able to be swept away into her fantasies of becoming a hero, she ended up changing the world. And they didn't even have to be particularly good at what they were trying to do to be better than the local cops. Which is also very fun and inspirational for people who are wanting to get their hands onto really anything of their special interest or what they're looking into. You want to start drawing? Good. Just do it. It doesn't have to be good. Your human hands are making it. This is good.
If you want to start drawing, it doesn't have to be good. It just has to be better than your local police department. Can they draw better than you? I don't think so.
They probably only have one person on the team who can draw better than you, and they're a sketch artist, and that's their job they get paid for.
I am curious, Borch, since this was your first time hearing their backstories, I'm curious what your thoughts on everything was.
The only thing that I'm thinking of is, so if Jimmy ever decides to open doors again, will Jimmy ever have that actual like arc moment of basically, is it time to search for my mom again? Because the fact is, with how it is stated, this dimension has all of these people. They exist. They are still alive. They're still there. Simply, they are lost in a dimension where apparently a master of the arts, being Jimmy's father, cannot find them.
There is a secondary issue besides just being trapped in between.
They also have amnesia. Yes, this is true.
No. They could also have exited somewhere else.
They might
Yeah.
have opened a different door and be in the middle of somewhere or regular or both.
They also might be in a different universe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it's a multi-dimensional plane of
I
existence.
can't
yeah.
wait for us to find Jimmy's mom and Epithet Isekai.
It has
Well-
been discussed.
Well, the neat thing is, in Epithet,
That is
there was a moment where he did, during the last session, use the Way of the Doors to defeat the dragon.
Yeah, I remember.
So,
Epithet Isekai Jimmy having like better door character arc than regular Jimmy is so hilarious to me.
Well, he's been forced
It is-
into it. Also,
Yeah,
there's been
it's
almost
really
no doors.
Yeah, it's really funny to me because it's like it's really crazy to me to think about the fact that at some point Jimmy could find his mom in Isekai. That would be interesting.
you said
Yeah.
that very suspiciously.
That's how most things about Isekai get spoken of.
You said that very suspiciously and then did not unmute yourself afterwards. I'm just saying, that was a suspicious way to go about that.
Well, either way, I mean that. I do think it's very interesting. I hope that like my thing with backstories too, and I think Ray had talked about this earlier on in the stream, basically about how me and one of our other friends have tried to convince him like backstories are good. You should do this for all of your characters. One of the main reasons that I at least have said that is because backstories, while they do give a lot of context about the character, they also do things that the character can bring back to that are already grounded and established. Like, for example, now that we know this can influence a lot of conversations that Jimmy might have in the future when it comes to anything dealing with parents. Simply because of the fact of like, while this is not a normal situation entirely, the idea of not having a parent in your life or having parents in your life that are not completely emotionally there is
Or the concept
shown.
that he might have to unmourn his mom at some point.
Yeah,
Oh,
Like,
Mm.
mourn the loss of, like, 10 years of relationship while she is standing right in front of him.
so
not to
since-
mention 10 years of new memories of this person finding a new life.
Yeah. Since
Like,
Isekai isn't technically canon to the main series, I have, since I learned more of this backstory, been trying to use it as a way to broach things that won't get brought up in the main series. So I have been trying to incorporate certain little tidbits, like Jimmy becoming really attached to a figure that he's like, okay, I'm adopting you now. I'm your dad. I'm never going to let you go. I'm never going to just
Yeah.
emotionally neglect you. You're mine now.
I love it. I love that. I love how the backstory for the main series has influenced the way you guys played like characters from the non-canon show.
No, but they start out at the same point, you know? Like, they
No.
start
I know.
at the same point and then they diverge.
I think that that's what is so cool about it. Like, and someday we could make it canon. I have no problem with doing that. I think that's awesome. But I just want to focus on the main series first.
am I hearing
Before
that
we
the
do that.
series' canon is in fact in question about which one will be the true series when the time comes?
Well,
Well,
not
That
really.
depends on the
It's-
amount of funding you get.
exactly. That is.
That all
That
depends on
is-
you and subscribing to our Patreon.
Fun fact.
It
Did you
does.
know that with YouTube Premium, if you have YouTube Premium, the easiest way to support the channel is to watch one of our longest episodes on loop.
Forever.
Forever is crazy.
Please
I mean, you don't have to do it forever, but watching the longer you watch your favorite person's streams or videos does help out significantly. Even though you are not receiving ads, they do receive money if you have YouTube Premium.
A caveat to what I
please
said
do.
previously, you do not have to do it forever. The human lifespan. About 80 to 90 years is perfectly acceptable.
You can also watch multiple videos from the channel. It does not have to be the same one on loop. Don't worry. You do not have to have a
Yes.
3-hour soundtrack of your life.
Just have your computer, put the YouTube video on, go to work, and just put like a playlist. Just make a playlist of all the videos. Just click
Boom.
that, go to work,
80 to 90 years.
and
Use
there we go.
Post-it notes to make this your special interest.
Yeah,
It,
yeah.
it is funny.
Watch it with cereal every morning.
It is funny
Dinobite cereal?
going into backstories because so whenever me and Vintage are driving somewhere, we will just start talking, and we have written out full elaborate backstories for multiple characters, for like side characters, like
I love world building.
Minette and Kala have a super long history written out, and
Why
we're
have you not
never
told me
going
any
to
of
explore.
this?
We're
Why
never
have you
going to explore it.
How dare you?
No,
What?
it's only in
Excuse me, no.
snippets.
How
I'm
dare
so
you?
sorry you're live.
How dare you? What do you
don't-
mean you're never going to explore this?
To
What
be
the
fair, I wish I had
fuck?
access to it as well.
I mean, you don't want to know about the royal family and politics.
Yes, I
and
do.
how Kala was
Yes,
trained from a
I
young
do.
age.
Yes, I 100% do. How dare you speak for me?
If
And
you
the
want,
secret
you guys-
information that even our patrons can't have.
Mhm,
Y-
mhm.
you if you want, you can literally do a voice note and just send it to Birch of all the stuff.
You gotta hit him sometimes with the George Washington. This man does not speak for me.
Well, that sign can't stop me because I can't read.
God. Anyways, good
You
to
can't
know.
read.
Good to know I
You're
have
illiterate.
backstory to
Well,
learn.
I'll
that
have
they
you know,
just-
I can't even speak English.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
No hablo inglés.
I also want to know
Yes.
how, like, were you guys also geeking out like me about their little romance with they're asking themselves, like, and also like from Postal, I think it's so cute, it's adorable, I love it. They are so cute.
Mm-hmm.
It was okay. So y'all can't see this. Y'all can't see this because obviously there's not a camera on. But when Vintage gets very happy, their face goes through a very specific type of smile, and it's like a very giddy smile, right? And during that scene, Vintage had the biggest smile on. It was kind of just bouncing a little bit, and I was like, "Oh, it's Bouncerella." It was so cute. So yes, we will giddy and kind of geeking out about the scene.
Man, I'm so excited for the marriage proposal at some point. I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
I have to remember I have the ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
looking
so excited for
forward to
it
the next-
in both worlds. I'm excited
I'm
for
look-
it both.
That's
Whoa.
fair.
I'm looking forward to the next epithet isekai.
Yeah.
Not for any particular reason or anything.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that. I think it's you guys bring so much chemistry to these characters in a way where this is what I was hoping for them to be. These like two loving goofballs who like really try to bring the best in each other and be there for each other as much as they can. And it's like you see it a lot with, again, the way Jimmy was raised, and you brought it up for the epithet isekai stuff but also like I think he like does have like this way of like, hey, like I'm never gonna leave you, right? I'm never gonna abandon you. I'm never gonna like let you down. Basically, I'm not gonna desert you.
Never gonna give you
You are
up.
never
Never
gonna
gonna
let you
let
down,
you
never gonna
down.
turn around,
or
Never
desert
gonna
desert you.
run around.
but
Desert you.
but
Never gonna make.
but he has this very much because of this experiences that he had in this he has essentially like you said, like he tries his best to when he has a relationship to be like present in the moment and just try to be there for that person. um and Cindy's just like this this like really hyperactive like kind person who sometimes is oblivious to her to her own little way of
The
doing
impact
things.
she's
And
having.
exactly the impact she's having on things. And like again, I love that the end of the first season is you guys redeeming Sam. And I love the fact that in the new season you guys are still trying to redeem the bad guy. It really shows who these characters are as people. um and I like that a lot. Like I think um that's one of the main things I really love about superheroes, and I love about Spider-Man. That's one of my favorites. Like and Batman as well, because Batman has like a little bit of that too, of giving second chances and just like trying to figure out why this person is acting the way they're acting, um, and try to help if they can. And if they can, well, it has to be a fight, right? But it's like, but there's always the trying to redeem, trying to help out and find a way for that person to become better. So like I think it's very much very interesting, and just the psychology of these characters and as people is very fascinating. And you guys do such a good job with that chemistry of like connecting with each other and figuring things out, and um with how they would react to a situation, how they would act in a situation. And I think like I've given you like a few pointers in the past, but you guys have pretty much done everything else on your own very well.
Thank you.
Thanks. It does help that we're in the same room and can like look at each other and then just
Yep.
be like, "Oh yeah, that's what's about to happen."
I mean, that's always better when you're doing characters like these and just voice acting in general, to have that chemistry. But it's like, it doesn't have to be like that, but it's just like, it's always better, to be honest,
It's
to be in
very
the same
helpful.
place. It is.
Swapping
And
topics,
like,
knowing
Mhm.
Jimmy's backstory is really, it makes some of the moments that happen in the mainstreams way more touching to me. I don't know if they ended up getting into the episode because I'm not sure which episode it happened in. But one of the episodes, they end up coming home and Jimmy was overwhelmed, and so Cindy makes him like a plate of eggs and I think Dynamite cereal, and turns the lights down low and is like, "Okay, you're going on the couch now. No more adulting. I made you dinner. You are failing at eating. Say ah. We're going to get you fed. We are going to get you regulated, and we're gonna get everything okay." And it's really nice to see him have the type of comfort you'd often associate with giving to a child when he was so deprived of it for so long. And seeing that since she has a backing of having a very secure relationship with her parents, she's been properly modeled how to do that for someone else. And that he is
Yeah.
like open and receptive to being reparented.
Yeah, and I feel like I have alluded to this a lot, but it's like, he also feels very safe to turn into toys when Cindy's around.
Mhm.
Like he feels the safest to do that when she's around, and I think like that is also something very fascinating because she's the one that kind of like, no, like your word, you who you are, your soul word is it's beautiful and it's okay. Like you should be comfortable with it, even if like all these people have made fun of you for it and all this stuff. Like I accept you and I love you and you can feel safe with me. And I think that that's also very like beautiful.
Mhm. So, I don't know if you meant this as a metaphor for shutdown, but it is actually really sweet rep that when he gets overwhelmed and stuff like that in his classes, he often turns into dolls that don't have sight or
Yes.
hearing
Yeah.
because it does feel like a very one-to-one of shutdown. And it's just like,
Yes.
oh,
That was like the intention. It's like
they don't have
that's basically
ableism,
like,
but they just have secret ableism.
yeah. Which like I love it. I think it's great. Like the thing about epithets is that it is meant to be like this very much this identity thing. So it's like it is like this uh metaphor. Metaphor is not the right word, but like it is like in a way. So it's like I find it nice to use in the same way like you see it used in the X-Men and stuff like that. So it's cool. Well, yeah. If nobody else has to say anything,
We have one.
I was going okay, before that
Okay.
one,
Oh.
I was going to say I also find it's really nice how with the backstories, it also kind of speaks to how these characters were meant to be treated, like from a universe level, how these characters were meant to be treated. How Cindy was meant to be played with, not like in a negative way, but in the way a child would play with a bouncy ball. How you're always meant to come back. How it's supposed to be a playful relationship. How it's supposed to be fun. And how Jimmy was meant to be cared for and loved. And so the breakdown of his epithet misfiring because inherently his soul's purpose is not being fulfilled
yeah,
is so heartbreaking. And hers works extremely well because people are actively playing with her and actively giving her like the proper attention and the back and forth and giving her that positive regard. And then him lacking it, causing all the malfunctions, also makes you look at the villains and go, huh, you know, I wonder if half of these negative things were due to them not being treated how the universe asked them to be.
yes.
And of
Like
course,
it
there's like
is.
incidents every once in a while because children are not exactly the best with their coordination. But how much of the accidental lashing out was because they weren't treated properly?
Exactly. I love that you bring that up because it is like a very much. It is very much that like the epithets are like there's this way. Like for example, you have in the main series of like the show, the original show, um, Molly, who is basically like her power is dumb in the sense that she can dumb down things, and basically like she the way she's treated, it's like she has this like very fascinating power, but the way she has to use it is to take care of her family, even though she's a child. Like take care of her
Mhm.
dad, take care of older sister, because her power is like she can make anything that she imagines like real.
Molly's part of the
And
group literally being doing all the scary adulting things. It will not ever like not be funny to me.
Yeah, and like the fact that she like has to dumb down her sister's thing so it doesn't get out of control. It's like, but once she finds someone who appreciates her, in the way she's meant to be, like you see like a very different side of who she is, and like this very calm and kind person. It's like there is a lot of that there too. Um, of like she wants to be in peace because that is like kind of like her power. It's like this, she needs to be in a space where it's not too loud, where it's not too crowded, where she can feel comfortable and accepted. But she's constantly in places that are very like loud, and people are lashing out at her, and people are treating her in a very loud way, or she's in situations that she can't control. And they're very loud, even though her power is to dumb things down, basically. So it's like, or her word is to dumb things down. So it's like she's very uncomfortable with these things. Um, and the fact that she's able to find someone who actually makes her feel safe and in a quiet and more nice environment, she finally gets the treatment that her word was made for, basically. Her that word that got edged into her soul. So it's like, yeah, like I find that very beautiful as well, of like, or of like showing that with Jimmy, of like him, like that word, that doll, like dolls are meant to be cared for and loved and played with in a way. So it's like, and you're meant to like give this much,
I'm
like,
sorry, you're
even
speaking
like,
in the harmonic choir of robots again.
okay,
It's like
is that
robot
better?
bees, but
Am I
layered.
good?
It's still going.
Still going.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's done.
You're still going.
I mean, you aren't going on
Okay.
my end, if that helps at all.
Is that better?
I'm going to unplug and plug in the.
I think it's you guys. I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real with you.
Yeah.
Well, that did not fix it.
I'm gonna
That
keep it a
dribble.
buck with you. I think it's your problem.
Yeah, like I think it's on your end. Because I don't hear anyone turn into robots.
Beep boop, beep boop. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
I will be right back.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. I'm clinking it. We got the elevator music. So we're about to have an elevator discussion. What's your best elevator discussion? Oh, never mind. You
They're
shouldn't
back. Do
sound sad.
you hear me?
Yeah, I can. I've always been able to.
No, I know. Thank you.
The harmonic robot choir is spooky. But yeah, now that he's like properly being treated like a doll, it is very like cozy, you know?
They ignored your question, Ray. Oh no.
No, they're done. They're doing it. No, but yeah, like I was saying, like you said, so it's like it's really cool to see it. See it as something that's happening now. Jimmy, what Vintage? Sorry, Percy, what do you think about that? What do you think about that?
I mean, from the beginning, even not knowing the backstory, every time there is like a slice of life moment in the series, it does my whole lot of joy. I really like slice of life being thrown into the middle of things. Because it does give you a new perspective on the character. Yes, this person's a vigilante. Yes, this person's doing that. But they're also a cozy character, and it's a cozy form of media. And so seeing him kind of get to find his place, knowing that his backstory is relatively harsh and he did have a relatively rough time, seeing that he gets to kind of feel at peace with everything, and knowing that he is safe within Cindy's arms when he turns into a stuffed bear or when he is just having a bad day. It's a very beautiful thing to know that they are that intertwined and know that they are that interconnected. And I don't know, I just really like seeing it. And I really like the cozy moments. Because yes, you know, the show must go on. There's got to be some action. There's got to be some excitement here and there. But the cozy moments really do make the characters for me. And so I'm really glad we get to see those occasionally. And yeah, I think it does my whole very good to see Cindy kind of be in her element, be able to bounce around, and Jimmy be able to, you know, be a stuffed bear without any consequences, or turn into an action figure and play in the ocean, turn into a toy shark and swim around. You know, different stuff like that, I think really brings the characters levity and allows them to kind of really shone through, you know?
Yeah, like because again, like it's interesting to me that in the main series, right? Like we see him turn into like dolls and stuff like that more when he is with Cindy on those personal moments, on those slice of life moments, instead of when he's in the action, when he is out there. Like I find that really interesting. I think the only time he's done it is when he turned into a Lego character to spy on the bad guys once. Um, but it's like, and on that, on the note of like, he's also like, oh, I have someone there that will pick me up afterwards if I get stuck. I know that there's someone who is gonna pick me up, and I'll be fine. Like, so it's like, it's that as well. It's like I it's so cool. Um, and again, like I do have to give thanks to Birch as well on the fact that he has helped me like process like making backstories and stuff like that, and how important that is, because I'm really stubborn about it. But yeah, I think this was a great thing, and I've been so happy about it ever since. I mean, like to me the funniest thing is that I do a lot of backstory for the villains because they're most of the time, because like I am more interested in that of like, why are they the villain? Like, but like for a main characters, I'm like, they're just main characters, you know, they're there.
They
Like,
exist to exist.
The story will play out as they go, you know?
You don't need to ask
Yeah.
why the main character wants to do something. They're the main character. Of course they want to progress
Obviously
the
want to
plot.
out justice.
Yeah.
Justice.
But I do think I've really loved this experience. It's helped me a lot with my writing. It's helped me a lot with directing, and just in general. I thank you guys a lot for sticking around, and yeah, for just helping in general. Like I think I think it's really kind of you guys. I really hope I'm doing my best to make you guys feel like it's
Hmm.
good.
And thank you for like hosting all of this and creating a beautiful world that we get to take part in.
Other than that, do we want to do like stars for this? There's no wishes, but stars. Or maybe we could do wishes because we could still see these things in the future if we wanted to. You want to do stars and wishes?
Hey, Jimmy, why did you always used to eat Dino Bite cereal?
Oh, this stuff? Jimmy holds up a small box. Well, it's because it's delicious 9-grain flakes that combine whole wheat, rice, and barley to deliver a crunchy and nourishing breakfast, enriched with a blend of 9 essential vitamins, including vitamin B, A vitamin, zinc, and iron. Dino Bites has many of the vitamins you need to help you feel strong, and it can deliver a crunchy and nourishing breakfast. Would you like to try some, Cindy?
Sure.
Okay. I finished this box, so I have to go buy some more, but
I have never heard you say vitamins with an American accent before.
well, yeah, I had to fit the role.
My star goes.
Why do you look so flabbergasted?
You've said vitamins for 6 years.
Oh, yeah, that's how I pronounce it. Vitamins. It's the way it's supposed to be pronounced.
So star to the gym having a ton of like jumping and foam pit type equipment. Bonus points for Cindy being the main character, because I know a ton of people's epithets would not work for that type of area. As well as having quiet rooms, but not having lights that don't go buzz. I think that's really funny. I was very amused when I saw that. I was like, oh dang. They can have quiet room, but they can't have light that doesn't go burr.
Light go burr. As always, light always go burr.
Burr.
Light always go burr.
A stole for me. You got it?
Huh? I thought we were doing them based on the scripts.
Oh.
Yeah.
So, which section were you at?
Which part of the script did you like?
Oh, I liked a lot of it.
Okay, well, say some of them. They
So-
haven't already said yet.
So I really liked the Spinosaurus section because, again, how did you know that was my favorite dinosaur? And it had such a pivotal point because for Jimmy, it's like, yeah, I need to start with a strong foundation. I need to have a strong moral compass. That's what he took from that as he got older. And so I really like that whole scene of his mother saying, it needs a stronger foundation, Jimmy. We can add more. We can add more clay to the bottom so it doesn't tip. Even, it's such a simple thing to say, but it does fundamentally carry a lot of weight in Jimmy's heart because he remembers those moments more since his mom is, gone.
It's such a sad metaphor for the rest of his life, too, because he ended up not having a strong foundation.
Exactly. And I really like that portion. So I got to give a stole to that.
Thank you.
I also wanted to give a stole to Bolch's reading of the dad. It sounded vaguely like you were like criticizing the dad every time you read his roles.
That was really, it did sound like that.
It sounded vaguely like you were just like, I'm disappointed in this man. How dare he?
Yeah, and I hate this character because he is too flawed to take care of a child. So, I'm reading out the words, but I'm letting my disdain show because honestly, he kind of deserves it.
Alright. My bad.
No, it was great.
It was so funny.
It was great. Yeah, I think my star was definitely the promposal and it's cute. I love it, and also hearing you guys do that entire thing of them becoming boyfriend girlfriend and actually doing the promposal then, like, that was all. That's what I wanted the most. I wanted to hear that entire thing, and I'm so happy to be able to hear it. So, star to you guys for doing that beautifully, and the way you did it, where you mixed both of your perspectives, was really cool. Like, I wasn't expecting that, but that's really cool.
I noticed that the previous one had almost the same dialogue except for one or two perspective changes. He was like starting on it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna butt in with my little perspective thing and then go back.
Yeah,
I loved that. That was really good.
Very well. You're obviously the dominant character, obviously important. And then the other one, it was just like, okay, just a little blurb and then go back. Because both of those were like important, but I also like it was more impactful if it went back to back instead of like the whole paragraph.
Yeah. Yeah, no. You guys, that was great. I was like, when you started doing it, I was like, oh, that's that's really cool.
Yes.
They're doing things, and I didn't have to say anything, and that was great.
I read the sacred.
That was really cool. Like, it was so cool that you guys did that. because it's like I writing from both of the perspectives was also really fun to see how they interpreted what each other was doing as well a little bit. I was like, it's cool. I liked it, but like I love the fact that you guys combined both perspectives. It was really really awesome. But yeah, other than that, I think we're good. Birch, do you had any moment that you liked?
I mean, I definitely thought that as soon as like I heard the whole essentially Jimmy's mom dying tragically, but not really dying, I was like, oh yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, she's still alive.
Yeah,
out there somewhere.
Yeah. I love how you said that with
Yeah.
all the conviction of like, yeah, you psychopath. Okay.
You
No,
know,
it was
unless
more-
we open
it-
the door to somewhere that humans can't survive.
It was more, yeah. She's not dead though. That was my
Yeah, I corrected myself, but
You're a little functionally dead.
amnesia, it's a time.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
It's a little bit of a
Anyhow,
thing. I think Birch's actual star is that you're making backstories. I think that's his secret star.
Oh, I don't know.
are you proud
Are
of
you
me,
very
Birch? Are you
happy?
proud? Are you proud? Are you
Good job.
proud of me?
You made tragic backstory. Good job, Ray. To be
What's
fair,
it-
I've
it
seen
was-
I've seen you do backstories before. So I
yeah,
actually
but
don't
this
know
is the-
because I remember Cherry Boomer. Cherry
Yes,
Boomer
but
was
that-
fun.
Okay, yeah, but like Alex gonna guide me through that entire thing. Like, but this was like legitimately one of the very the two most detailed backstories I've made.
Yeah. I mean, good job.
Thank you. That's
Okay.
all I
Okay,
wanted,
just-
Birch. I just wanted you to
That's
be
all you
proud of
wanted?
me.
Uh,
You to be proud of it.
I think I just realized something that ties all the wards together.
Oh?
Okay.
What?
There's a character in one of our playthroughs who has amnesia. I think Jimmy's mom is Geiger.
Gygor? Oh.
You know,
No.
the radio-
yes. Yes.
Okay,
Perfect.
this got out of control. Have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us. And see you
Go to
next
sleep.
time on the next wonderful stream here in the channel Epithet Inscribed. See you next time.
Epithet inscribed.
Bye bye.
Subscribe.